I do, Buckaroos, from the Redundancy Department of Redundancy. I'm back with another sort of Manhattan. I say sort of because it's not really a Manhattan. It's kind of inspired by a Manhattan. So what I do have is some Redemption High Rye Bourbon. Near the end, man. This stuff's awesome. It was $27 a bottle, and it's freaking outstanding. High Rye Bourbon, 92 proof. It's 60% corn, 36% rye, and 4% barley. Okay, so what I did different, though, in lieu of sweet vermouth, instead of using sweet vermouth, to use something sweet but go a different direction, I had some Cabin Fever maple flavored whiskey, which is 80 proof. I bought this because it was $3.99 a bottle. I shit you not. And then I used 6 dashes of orange bitters. So let me shake her up here a little bit. I got her getting cold in my shaker. So I had to use my little craft the other day because I couldn't find my shaker. But got my shaker here. Got her ready. Got my bar caddy out and unpacked. My wife washed her up. So here I have a martini glass. I'm going to serve this one straight up. Every once in a while you'll see me do them on the rocks. That's what I'm doing straight up. Let's hope I don't spill it everywhere on me. Yes, I'm pouring this bad boy. Oh yeah, there we go. Now that, my friends, is a good looking martini if I could try real hard not to spill it. There you go. Oh, I said 2 ounces of the rye, about 3/4 ounce of the maple, a few dashes of the bitters, 1 maraschino cherry in there, and I also used just a splash of the maraschino cherry juice. Just to add a little additional sweetness and color, and damn, that's tasty. Is this an actual Manhattan? No. I'm not telling you it is. I'm just telling you, you have the freedom to do what you want. Cocktail police aren't going to come to your door and say you can't make it like that. Make things any way you want. In fact, you shouldn't be afraid to experiment. Work around, man. Make your own cocktails. That's what I like to do. Hey, sometimes sweet vermouth is a little sweet for me, you know, so I actually use less than most Manhattan recipes. So I use this maple flavored whiskey rather, which gives me a lot of alcohol in this drink. It's a little bit less sweet, but still provides some sweetness and a little bit of maple. But I added just a touch of that cherry juice. That added a little sweetness back to it as well. It's my first after-work cocktail. It was a long day today, man. It was one of those 11-hour days today, buddy. I know some people work longer hours. I'm not complaining. It was just a long day, man. I work longer days as a youngster. I work longer days now, but, 11 hours is a pretty good day, man. So anyways, I was going somewhere with it. I lost it. So I had an after-work beer just a few moments ago that I decided I'd have a cocktail, do a video with a cocktail. Set that down for just a second here while I adjust something. I just noticed my screen was a little off here. I'm trying to adjust my screen. This is my fake background. I like my bar background. I like this one. I've got several of them that I've taken pictures of, and I use as these kind of fake backdrops as my, my green screen, as it were, and then I try to get them where it's set up where you can't tell, but I never can get it quite right. Not try to fool you. I just like the way they look, man. So let me get my drink back. Well, I take stills. I like the way they look. Anyways, I am not a beer whisperer, man. Not a whiskey whisperer today, man. Well, at this particular second, anyway. Oh, gosh, that's actually good. Wow, I am near the end of this bourbon. It is beautiful. There's so much hype right now over wheated bourbons, right? I mean, it's not necessarily new. I mean, Pappy's been popular for a long time. But, I mean, there was a time that it was easily accessible. I could walk into a store and get it. Now there's so much hype on it, it's impossible to find. And it's very pricey. I'm not going to say it's overpriced because it is good. But in my opinion, I think there's others that are just as quality for less money. But now everybody doing a wheated bourbon is, now Weller claims to be the first. Pappy claimed to be the first. Some say that the Weller Top Hat. I don't know. Quite frankly, I don't care. I certainly do like Pappy. I like other wheated bourbons. But I think people forget the reason why rye was traditionally used as a secondary grain, because corn is sweet. So you use rye to provide a spicy backdrop for it. You know, it balances it out. I do like the wheated ones, but they do tend to be a little sweeter. The mouth feels a little softer. That wheat kind of softens it up a little bit, and they make a nice bourbon. However, I mean, I do like the fact that Redemption has done this high rye, and I hope to see more bourbons like this. I hope to see more really emphasize the rye again to bring that spice up. It does taste like a bourbon. But there certainly is some rye aspects to it. It is a little spicier than even traditional bourbons. You get a little something on the front, you get a lot on the back end. It's just nice, you know. I just think folks that only partake in the wheated bourbons are really missing out on what an actual bourbon really ought to taste like. My opinion. No, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying Pappy isn't good. It certainly is. I wouldn't turn a bottle down. I'm not necessarily saying it's overpriced or overhyped, but there is a lot of hype involved with it, and it is rather pricey. And I think, I really believe there's others out there for less money that just don't benefit from the hype. So, you know, pay attention to what you're buying. More expensive doesn't necessarily mean better. That's true in all whiskey categories, but I think even more so with bourbons. I think when you're talking about Scotch whiskeys or Irish whiskeys, the age really makes a difference. 12, 16, 21. And it does with bourbons to a point, but I mean, I've personally had some small distillery or boutique distillery rusted oak whiskey. That's, you know, some whiskeys that in some cases were aged anywhere between 6 months to 2 years. That to me felt every bit as nuanced and quality as, you know, 4, 6, 8, 10-year-old bourbons. So my advice is, especially with bourbons, is don't get too hung up on age or price. Some people are charging too much. Some people are making too much of the age. This is a very nice bourbon for under $30, and you can find a lot of fine bourbons for under $30 if you pay attention. I mean, I was talking about a rusted oak whiskey. There's a whiskey called 27 from a small distillery in Purdy, Missouri, not far from where I live. It runs about $30 a bottle. It is a rusted oak whiskey. It isn't aged very long. But if you didn't know that, if I just gave you a little bit of it, excuse me while I scratch my nose, sorry about that. If I just gave you a shot and a half neat and you drank it, you would be amazed at how flavorful, how nuanced that particular whiskey was. You know, I think some of us geeks in any direction, beer geeks, whiskey geeks, could get too hung up on price, age, ingredients, and a lot of different things. You know, pay attention to what's good. Don't focus on the hype. It's my opinion anyway. Yeah, you know, so-called aficionados or experts tend to get too caught up on things like that, on age, hype, price. And again, I personally think it probably matters more with Scotch and Irish whiskeys. With bourbons, not as much, because I've had some fine bourbons that weren't aged very long. Again, that rusted oaks. Although it's not a bourbon, actually, it's just whiskey. Never mind. But my point being, yes, is age doesn't always matter. Gosh, that's good. That's a nice drink. When I drink straight up like this, is basically chilled and poured in the chill glass. Tend to drink them a little faster. If I've got them on the rocks, I know it's going to stay cold, but I don't want to drink like this to really get too warm. Although I've got some quality. It's kind of the same principle as craft beer, though. I mean, if I'm using quality ingredients, the drink isn't going to go bad after it gets warm. But you are going to lose some of those refreshing qualities. Depends on what you want it for. But a drink like this certainly doesn't necessarily have to stay cold. because your liquors in here are damn fine warm anyway. So anyway, drink them any way you want them. I don't give a rat's ass. What the frick doesn't matter to me? That's why I get, it cracks me up when folks, you post something and folks go, well, I don't like that, or I don't drink it that way. Well, you weren't the one drinking it that way. Why are you getting angry? You didn't taste it, you didn't drink it. Why do you give a rat's ass how I drink something? Everybody's in everybody's damn business these days. Everybody needs to chill the fuck out. Let's chill the fuck out. The Whiskey Whisperer said so. Have a cocktail and a smile, you candy-ass sons of bitches. I am Tom the Whiskey Whisperer. That is my advice for the day as I'm going to eat this cherry. Whiskey Evangelist, prolific whiskey drinker. Purveyor of Wisdom, all-around good guy. Cheers.